New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Happy Friday, everybody. Here we are at the end of April. Oh, can you imagine? Wow. Soon to be May. One more week. Well, I'm so excited. Tonight's stories, and now the good news is better than ever because I love this first story, because I'm one of those grandmas who would love the opportunity. So why else would you buy a Lamborghini? Hashtag Grandborghini. An Englishman whose grandmother took her own life while suffering from loneliness has started a turbocharged effort to reduce social isolation. Called Grandborghini, the charity connects seniors and elderly in the UK with the owners of supercars made by Ferrari and McLaren to give them a spin. I would love that, especially if I could drive. Organizer Mark Cody had always promised Gran he'd take her for a ride in a Lamborghini one day, but never got the opportunity. After he made a promise to make sure others would have the same chance in the name of preventing future tragedies of isolation, Cody says he didn't know about the widespread epidemic of loneliness among retirees in the UK, but after learning about its pervasiveness, made a few phone calls, and Grandborghini was born. This is such a brilliant idea. What started out as a daft idea, trying to do some good and raise awareness in a wild and exciting way for people who get forgotten about, has blown me away with the response, Cody told the UK's This Morning show. We've had people step out of the car and say, I feel like a rock star. I feel 20 years younger. Cody then told the BBC, it's so heartwarming and overwhelming emotionally to see people's reactions. Partnering with Mark is 82-year-old Betty Tynan, organizer of a small social group called Friendship Lunches, and also the first Gran to get behind the wheel of one of the supercars. That's what I would want to do. One day, she and her friends were having a fundraising event with Cody, and Cody was there with 3 supercars. As Tynan revealed recently, even though the opportunity was there to drive one, the members of the luncheon club were like wildebeests at the edge of the river waiting to see who's the first one to jump in. For starters, the low-riding cars are a little difficult to get in and out of for somebody who's a senior, but Tynan is a social soul and wanted to have a go immediately. The McLaren's owner, Robert Gibbons, said he got involved with Grandborghini in order to do exactly what he wanted to do when he bought the car: make people smile. I love that. Don't you love that? I'll tell you, I hope somebody with a Lamborghini comes and knocks on my door. I'll go for a drive. It could be fun. All right. Book fairies giving away 25,000 books to New York's children thanks to a big donation. So there's lots of good people in the world. More than 25,000 books are on the way into the hands of underserved residents across New York City and Long Island. They'll be distributed across the boroughs by Book Fairies, a nonprofit that since 2012 has donated 6 million books to Title I schools. I don't know if that's supposed to be a 1, educators, and community partners. The donations come via the world's largest online retailer of used books, Thrift Books, I know them well, which teamed up with the Book Fairies, which hosts large-scale distribution events where community leaders and educators can go and get books that might otherwise be beyond budget. Pardon me. 25,000 books is a lot of weight, and on the ground at the Book Fairy's central receiving and sorting area, it's hard work dividing them between reading level and eventual destination. Volunteers sort the received books before using pallet jackets to move them around in large boxes. Dan Schwartzberg, who works in media relations with 4 Media Group, which managed the press for the thrift books donation, told the Good News Network that he visited one of Book Fairy's free book events and saw the impact of the organization firsthand. They told me a story where a teacher grabbed a stack of books off the table and started crying because she asked for $150 from the school to buy these particular books for her kids and was denied, but found them at Book Fairies for free. Isn't that beautiful? I love reading, and I think everybody should spend time reading good books. Book Fairies has an incredible track record of getting books into the hands of children and families. Thrift Books is about more than just selling books. We're focused on saving them and sharing them and making sure that reading is something everyone has access to. Partnering with Book Fairies allows us to really turn that mission into action and opens up a life of books. Let me repeat that. My apologies. I get emotional when it comes to books. Opens up a life of books for so many children and their families. Courtney Collins, Associate Executive Director for Book Fairy, said that last year the organization was 28,000 books short of requests from various partners and schools, and that a gift of this size will have an incredible impact. That's 25,000 opportunities to provide what we otherwise would not have been able to provide. So it's going to change so many lives, noting that inadequate access to books is the number one cause of delayed child literacy. Bravo to Book Fairies and bravo to the thrift books. That's an amazing place. You need to buy a good book, check there first because they have some amazing titles. All right, moving along. We are going to have a little news break here, and then we're going to come back with kind of a sweet story, a little bit of fun. So don't go away and come right back because more good news to come. Well, this story, as soon as I saw the picture, I had to giggle because I think, well, I don't know if I could draw it quite that well, but I think I could do something almost that good. In an update from a Good News Story 15 months ago, this hilariously bad artist has raked in thousands from his dad paintings after receiving more than 430 commissions from around the world. The 42-year-old began the unusual side hustle accidentally, giving a gap gift to his wife, Kate, in 2024. She posted the funny artwork on social media, and it racked up thousands of views and comments. Jamie Lee Mathias has since been inundated with requests from people desperate for him to create funny versions of their own family photographs. The dad of 3 now juggles his art business under the name at Terrible Art by Jamie Lee alongside his full-time managerial job. You can see all of his creations on Instagram. Most people respond with joy and laughter to my paintings, which is why it's been so fun because they absolutely get it, said the jokester from Cheshire, England. One painting generally takes 45 minutes to an hour to finish, depending on the amount of people featured. Last January, Jamie received 130 orders and was painting for at least 5 hours a day. I didn't expect it to become a big part of my life, but sometimes I spend more time painting than I do at my actual full-time job. Well, don't tell his boss. But look, they're so good. He says he received requests from 12 countries, including the United States, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. In fact, he estimates that 35% of his commissions have come from Taiwan. His paintings often start at about $60 or 45 pounds, with some selling for a few hundred. With the added income, he has been able to afford a whole new garden for his house, as well as a family holiday to Turkey last year. But despite the success, there is always constructive criticism to be found around the house, as both Jamie and his wife, Kate's children, are on hand to call his work terrible. My kids say the paintings are terrible. You know what kids are like. They speak the truth. But deep down, I know they love it. It's colorful and fun. Jamie says his funniest order was one where he was asked to combine two photos, one of a nice country field and the other of a dog doing its business. All righty then. So his advice, just pick up a brush. The folk art painter is now even teaching art workshops locally. How fun is that? So if you've got nothing to do in your spare time, pick up a paintbrush. You too could create something truly terrible. All right. So, there's a lot of people who do IVF and, who decide that they want to have a baby, even though they might not be married or might not have met the right person, but they're getting to an age. Oh, I'm speaking of women, of course. Well, here's one that's kind of interesting. She found her soulmate 4 months after deciding to start a family on her own with IVF. A nurse who gave up on dating decided to pay for IVF treatment to have a baby on her own before meeting her soulmate 4 months later, who became a devoted father. The 39-year-old always dreamed she'd be married by age 30 and have a big family, but after a failed engagement and 6 years of unsuccessful dating, she still hadn't found her match. Desperate to become a mother, Natalie Lee Prevost decided to go it alone and paid thousands to undergo IVF in Spain and got pregnant after her first IVF attempt. That's rare. More luck came her way at 3 months pregnant when she unexpectedly met Adam Rice, and the couple really hit it off. I had given up on love. I didn't want to settle for something that didn't feel right, said the new mom from Devon, England. There was no chemistry, she talked to the press. I gave up on love and just decided to go it alone. I'm strong and independent, and this was my lifelong dream. With the support of her parents, she welcomed her little boy, Xavi Emilio, on Christmas Eve. I was on cloud nine, she said. She loved being pregnant, and now she's got this beautiful family. While she was 4 months pregnant, she went on a date with Adam, the electrician in the senior care home where she worked. From their very first, she knew instantly he was the one. He was your soulmate. Adam fully supported Natalie's dream to be a mother and even came to the hospital just after Xavi's birth. I feel so lucky. Xavi is my little miracle. It's amazing. The trio see each other 5 nights a week now. We're soulmates. No relationship has felt like this before. We're even born 2 days apart. Adam found out Natalie was pregnant halfway through their first date. I was surprised, but her honesty, her strength, the quiet courage in the way she told me made me want to stay. With every date, I felt myself falling for her more deeply. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, it kind of reminds me of my husband, because when we met, we knew. And it was 24 years ago, still working. All righty. Okay, moving along. We've got a very young little gorilla. Well, okay, the world's oldest gorilla, known for her dignified manner, celebrates 69. Isn't that beautiful? She's beautiful. On April 13th, the world's oldest gorilla celebrated her birthday with a vegetable feast at the Berlin Zoo. Named Fatu, no one knows how she was taken from her home in Africa, but one story says she was brought to France by a sailor who later had to sell her to settle a bar debt. The Western lowland gorilla eventually arrived in Berlin via a French animal trader and has far outlived any known member of her species from the wild. The Berlin Zoo cannot confirm the tale, but say that she did arrive in West Berlin Zoo in 1959 at the age of 2. Zookeepers naturally have no idea when she was born, but they picked April 13th as her birthday and invited the Guinness World Records, who recognized her as the world's oldest gorilla. Fatou looks at you and looks right into your soul. A spokesperson of the zoo in Berlin said she has this dignity. She looks at you and it's like looking at your grandma. That's what I'm thinking every time I go past her. She has more in common with a grandmother than just her demeanor. She doesn't move very fast anymore and suffers from a mixture of age-related maladies. Don't we all? Her eyesight is poor, she has arthritis, and she has to be careful about her blood sugar. This, unfortunately, precludes the routine eating of raspberries and blueberries, which were her favorite foods. Her teeth have mostly fallen out, so zookeepers must cook the majority of her food to make it easier for her to eat. Compared to one of the more famous mountain gorilla, the western lowland gorilla is smaller, weighing between 150 and 300 pounds. They still live in large family groups and are mostly peaceful creatures with incredible social sensitivity, mourning the loss of family members and taking care of their most vulnerable. I always say that they reflect some of the best things that we love most about our own species. How sweet is that? I love that. I love that story. World's oldest gorilla. Okay, well here's an odd one. 2 litters of kittens were discovered living atop a shelf at Lowe's. So you can go to Lowe's for your basic, construction project or whatever. But hey, you need a kitten to adopt? Really, are they cute or what? Employees at a Lowe's in Pennsylvania, excuse me, were shocked after they went to retrieve a pallet high on a shelf and heard a chorus of frightened mewling. Atop the boxes the pallet held, they discovered 7 kittens across 2 litters. The store in Downingtown called Lucky Dog Rescue Shelter called the Lucky Dog Rescue Shelter and explained their predicament. Lisa Newton from the shelter received the call and went down with her cat carrier to investigate. They directed me to the garden center and said they have 7 kittens, and I was surprised at that, and they said 2 separate litters. They had to get the forklift and go up and get them. One of the litters, you could tell that's where the mom had delivered them. One can only imagine what a strange life it must have seemed for the little creatures as they opened their eyes, the whole world being confined to the box tops on the rectangular shelf, surrounded by a lethal drop to the floor below, where strange giants routinely chatted and walked about. The store employees say 2 female stray cats frequent the garden center and obviously liked it enough to have their litters there. Newton has since heard that the 2 cats are still around, so Lucky Dog is planning to return and capture them for neutering. As for the kittens, forklift, herb, pallet, planter, grass, low, and rose will be available for adoption soon on the shelter's website. I love that. That is so sweet. I love cats. Okay, well, here's a story that my producer found, and I thought, say what? I've always wanted to go up in a hot air balloon. I never imagined that this could happen. So, a hot air balloon carrying 13 people made an emergency landing in Temecula's someone's backyard. Yes. Temecula, California. Shocking video out of Riverside County shows the moment a hot air balloon landed in the backyard of a home. Now, the homeowners are speaking to Eyewitness News about their stunning experience. It wasn't the landing anyone expected, but somehow a hot air balloon carrying 13 people landed in the backyard of a Temecula home on Saturday. The homeowner was watching TV around 8:30 a.m. when a neighbor knocked on his door. I go and answer the door. This guy's like, they just landed in your backyard. And I'm like, what? Perrin and his wife, Jenna, who was in another room at the time, then went outside to see what happened. I opened the sliding glass door and there's a basket full of 13 people in my yard. The pilot, he was masterful. He got it right down inside, like directly into the backyard where there was nothing. The balloon didn't catch on anything. No one was injured. The homeowners say the hot air balloon pilot told them the wind died, forcing him to make an emergency landing. You can kind of see the video. I don't have the video for you, but I'm sure you can go online to ABC's 7 Eyewitness News and you can probably see it there, or go to YouTube. I'm sure it's there, or go to, I don't know, anywhere. And I'm sure it's everywhere at this point. You can see in the video how they came in. He kind of plopped straight down and was moving very slowly. I run in the backyard and there's a whole group of people just waving. No damage and no one was injured. How beautiful is that? I love this story. At first, it was like, oh my God, we're in the backyard. This is crazy, said one of the passengers. They were taking their first hot air balloon ride to celebrate their 10th anniversary. And as they started approaching the neighborhood, Avalo said the pilot made an announcement. He said, there's not enough wind, because the wind kind of like stopped a little bit. And he was like, we're going to land. And we only had a little bit of fuel left. Neighbors gathered in the street to watch. Well, I have a yard big enough for that, but I'm not sure everybody does. Anyway, I love that story. Thank you, Zoe. That was fabulous. Okay, so, there's so many good people in the world, and I love to tell these stories because it's so important for us to remember as we look around and we listen to the news and we get this bad, bad, bad. That's why we have the good news on Friday nights or Friday afternoon, depending where you live. There is so much good in our world, so let's focus on that. This rooster became the most expensive ever at this auction, and the reason why is beautiful. At a small livestock auction in Ranburne, Alabama, a simple rooster became the heart of an extraordinary act of generosity, turning into thousands of dollars in support for a family facing one of the hardest battles imaginable. It started at the old Claiborne County sales barn when a man walked in with a rooster and made a surprising request. He didn't want to sell it for himself. Instead, he wanted it donated to help someone in need. Staff explained that a local family was going through a medical crisis. Their infant son was in the hospital with serious heart complications. Without hesitation, the rooster was put up for auction with all proceeds going directly to the family. What happened next stunned everyone in the room. The rooster was sold, and then the buyer immediately put it back up for auction again. And then it was sold again and again. The cycle continued more than 10 times, with people repeatedly buying and redonating the same rooster, turning a $70 animal into a powerful symbol of community compassion. By the time the bidding finally ended, that one rooster had raised over $5,300 for the family. That's what community looks like. Andy Lee Williams shared after witnessing the moment, people coming together, helping a family in a hard time, and showing that kindness still runs deep. Behind the scenes, the family at the center of it all continue to walk a difficult road. The baby's mother, Crystal, shared that they're still hoping to bring their son home before he requires surgery. She spoke about the emotional weight of being by her son's bedside while also missing her 2 daughters at home. But amid the fear and exhaustion, oh yeah, I get emotional, something powerful has been carrying them forward. They feel it, a local journalist noted. The love, the prayers, the people showing up for them. And there has been plenty of that. Tears were shed inside the barn and here online as the bidding unfolded, but so was gratitude, deep, heartfelt gratitude from a family reminded they are not alone. And let this story remind you, vulnerability is not weakness. If you got something going on in your life and you need support, ask for it. Let people know what's happening in your life. Open your heart and allow others to open theirs. Believe me, it truly is a win-win. In the latest update, baby Brantley is now off the ventilator and holding strong, a hopeful sign in what is still a challenging journey ahead. Bravo to everyone who bought that rooster over and over again. How sweet was that? So I don't know about you, but I sometimes have trouble, keeping my fruit fresh longer. And this actually removes pesticides too. A simple rinse can soon make your fruit cleaner, safer, and longer lasting, thanks to a breakthrough from researchers at the University of British Columbia here in Canada. Scientists there have created a natural, biodegradable fruit wash that not only removes a large portion of pesticide residue, but also helps keep produce fresh for longer. In a world where food waste is a growing problem and fresh produce prices continue to rise, this small innovation could have a big ripple effect. Our goal was to create a simple, safe, and affordable wash that improves both health food safety and food quality. People shouldn't have to choose between eating fresh produce and worrying about what's on it. Bravo, scientists in British Columbia. You got my vote. Well, here's the story. Two more stories to go. Let's see if we can get them in. She mouthed, "Help me," says hero gas station clerk who rushed to save a teen. A quick thinking gas station attendant is being hailed as a hero after his actions helped bring a teenage girl to safety in a frightening situation. It happened early in the morning at a gas station in Detroit when clerk, I can't pronounce his name, noticed something didn't feel right as a man and a teenage girl approached the counter. In a quiet but powerful moment, the girl mouthed the word "help," and he didn't hesitate. When he asked her to pay for the cigarettes, "I stop and go, there's something wrong," he said, and she mouthed "help." Trusting his instincts, he immediately stepped in. I'm going to try and pronounce his name. Abu Hatem came out from behind the counter, positioned himself between the two, and calmly but firmly guided the girl to safety. "I go out, I kick him out, I ask the girl to go behind me," he said. As he escorted the man out of the store, police arrived on the scene. Abu Hatem quickly pointed him out, helping officers take him into custody within moments. Thanks to his courage and awareness, the girl is now safe at home with her family. Bravo. Like, wow. That is a beautiful story. Well, and here's one more. Our hero story of the week. I'll tell you, we got more heroes than we can handle this week. Students honor a principal who saved them by crowning him prom king. Students at Pauls Valley High School in Oklahoma crowned their principal, Kirk Moore, as prom king just days after he risked his life to protect them. I always have trouble with these ones. The surprise honor came during prom night, when Moore stepped forward to cheers, applause, and high fives from students who knew they were celebrating more than just a title. They were honoring a man whose courage had made a life-saving difference. On April 7th, Moore sprang into action when a former student entered the school armed with multiple weapons. Without hesitation, he confronted the threat, tackling and helping disarm the suspect in the school's lobby. During the struggle, Moore was shot in the leg, but his quick response prevented what authorities believe could have been a devastating mass shooting. Thanks to Moore and another staff member, no students were injured. But for the students whose lives he helped protect, oh, excuse me, words like hero only tell part of the story. By voting him prom king, they found a way to say thank you, turning a night meant for celebration into something even more meaningful. Wow, I just can't keep it together on this one. We don't have a lot of school shootings in Canada. We've had a few, but not a lot. And every time I hear of one in the United States, my heart just cracks a little bit. I am so grateful to this principal and to these students who decided that this man, because not all kids like their principal, you got to know that for sure, but they stepped up and honored someone who went above and beyond. Well, so much for my great online presence. Talk about vulnerability. I said that was a thing. Well, thank you all for watching. And next week, we'll have more for you. And now the good news is something you want to put in your calendar and make sure you're here at 5 o'clock Mountain Time every Friday, or 7 o'clock Eastern Time, or wherever you are in the world. Come and watch, because it really is worthwhile. There truly is good in our world, and this is just absolutely one of the ways that we show it. You're watching And Now the Good News here on the New Thought Media Network. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And you may want to consider donating. New Thought Media Network, ntmedia.org. Get the donate link. Have a great week. See you next time.